Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3Stacks in this thing, man. Of course, I'm representing my squad. Today I'm going to be updating my Gishkis with all the cards that I was missing. The last build that I just put up, I did not have all of the cards that I wanted for the build. I feel like it was almost more of a need than a want. I really think that the ceiling of this deck is through the roof right now. Like, oh my gosh, it's not even an exaggeration. The way I wanted to play this deck, I finally get to play it this way. I was missing the Incantations. That's so important. Incantations are so broken in Gishkis. The 6 and the 4 literally add up to 10. You can summon your Gigas tributing them. Now you go into your extra deck. You can just tribute the 6 for your Handloop. They're so good. And the build is crazy. It's just pure insanity, dude. So I'm so excited, you guys, to showcase this build. For all of you, my ritual lovers who love rituals like me, this is for you. If you think rituals are irrelevant, I disagree with you, my friend. Rituals are beasts, in my opinion. So let's hop into the build. So starting off with your main Gishki boss monster, we have 3 Gigas. Doesn't target or doesn't destroy. Shuffles cards from the field into the deck and gets you draw power. And he's a beater and he's a level 10. Allows you to ult decay pretty easily. In addition to that, just attack, go into your super dreadnought, burn for 2k, that's pretty much game. If your opponent calls time in the round, make 2 of these, burn for 2k, that's game. Such an amazing card. It even breaks the extra link. It even breaks co-links. It's so easy to bait Trigate in this deck because you don't actually know what to stop. You can even bait Trigate just with a simple activation of a ritual spell. Who wouldn't negate that if they know you're playing a ritual deck? They know a ritual spell is how you get your thing started. So you could just bait out the Trigate. After that, you could use Gigas, shuffle Trigate. You want to shuffle, when you're breaking extra links, you want to shuffle the monsters that are in columns 2 and 4. Because what's in 2 and 4? You have the extra zones pointing down to them. You have zones 1, 3, and 5 pointing left and right to them. So if you take 2 and 4 out the equation, that equals link monsters that are pointing to empty spaces. That's how you do it. That's how you do it if you were curious. It's really simple. You can Zilgigas Trigate and then Zilgigas whatever is in column number 4. For their U board, bam, done for. It's over. Now you just kill them. It's just really easy. Gishkis don't really need extra deck, so extra link doesn't really hurt them. And I just have to note that because Gokis are, in my opinion, the best deck. They do a lot more than Trickstar Skystrikers can. So Zilgigas is just an amazing card going first or second, preferably second. That's how you OTK with ease. We have 1 Shrek. He allows you to shuffle cards into the deck as well. He's just a level 8. And he's also part of summoning Levianima. The way you want to ritual summon with Gishkis is you want to tribute the ritual monsters to summon themselves. That's how you get the most advantage, and basically that's how you net free card economy off of your Aqua Mirror, because if you tribute other monsters, you don't get to put Aqua Mirror back into the deck, and you don't get to add a ritual monster from graveyard to hand. So it just makes sense that that's why I think Konami made multiple Gishkis with the same levels. You have 3 different level 6 Gishkis. You have 2 level 8 Gishkis, and Zilgigas is the only one you want to play at 3 because you want to tribute a copy of him for himself. Really good. This shuffles cards into the field. Levianima lets you look at your opponent's hand, and he draws cards. So drawing and look at your opponent's hand is really good. It's like imagine if Mind Crush had a draw effect. It's really good. I like its effect. And he's 27. They summon monsters with pretty decent statistics as well. I think the 3200 is probably the beefiest one. We do have our Handloop package. So these cards went to 1 on the ban list a while ago, but it was actually because when Gishkis were in their prime, they were, for one, debuted as the only ritual deck that was ever meta relevant and a contender that could ritual summon more than 3 times in a turn. In fact, for their Handloop, you normally ritual summoned each of these 3 to 4 times, so it was like 7 to 8 times in one turn. Because these were at 3, that's why you were able to do it so easily. But even with them being at 1, the ironic thing, don't you sometimes find it funny that when Konami hits something in the ban list in order to stop something from happening, and that degenerate thing, it still ends up happening? Like, for example, they hit Master Diamond for Gym Knight so that they can't FTK anymore, and they still can FTK. Well, they hit Gustkraken and Mind August so that you can't hand loop anymore, and you can still hand loop. So it's just like, I don't understand the purpose of hitting them, but as long as you have 1 of each, you can actually hand loop your opponent. Right now, with the deck as it stands, it's a lot easier to hand loop your opponent for 3 and higher. When you're going for that 3 and 4 mark, it's a lot harder to do without a salvage. In fact, if you don't have a salvage, you normally spit out your entire hand just to hit 3 to 4. And you usually hit 3 averagely. But on the good hand, you can hit 4. When you have a salvage, that's when you go to 4 to 5. And what am I saying? Gus Kraken is the one that does the hand loop when he's ritual summoned, and actually it's not win, it's if this card's ritual summon, which is really cool because, you know, if is better than win. You look it up to 2 cards in your opponent's hand and you shuffle 1 into the deck. So you're looking at your opponent's hand and you're just picking between the 2, like, oh, this is good, this is not as good, I think I'll hit that. And you just continue to summon this overly and over and over and over again. Nothing's once per turn in this deck, unfortunately, nothing. There's not a single Gishki card that's once per turn. It's an unfortunate thing for your opponent, but good for you. You just summon this endlessly, as much as you possibly can. You continue, and once you resolve it, I think more than 3 times, once you hit the 3rd time you resolve it, you've already looked at every card in your opponent's hand, so you know what they're left with. Even if you can't take all their cards, you know what they have left. So that also, what's so broken about it is it also lets you know exactly what kind of boards you want to make, and you know what's coming, you know what to expect, you know what to prepare for. That I find that that's such an advantageous edge in the current meta, and it's just so good. Like, now you don't have any surprise factors, except for maybe their draw for next turn, and you kind of just know how things are going to shape up, and you know also if you're going to lose or if you're going to win, which is really cool. So things are pretty much decided on turn 1 when you're doing the hand loop. And when you get it right, like with the new combo of the Incantations, you're able to do it like pretty well. Once you hit 4, you don't even have to waste the rest of your resources. Like, you don't have to tribute one and some of the other. You can actually just bring both of them on the field. And if you're playing Beatrice, you can make Beatrice. All you have to do is main deck like 1 Alec or Farfa, so you can put up you know, a very, very decent disruption for that final 2 cards in their hand. But if you're not, you could just be greedy and hit 5. So that's it for your ritual monsters. You play 7. We are playing the MVP of all decks that are playing Incantations. We play 3 Zaborg. The decks that I played in this in the past, when I played Extra Deck Monarchs back in 2016, which was just 2 years ago, I played Super Quantums, the full Axis. I played all the Power Rangers. You guys have seen some of my Power Rangers decks. I have that Power Ranger engine that I have. I've had it ever since I was playing Monarchs. I was playing full power Extra Deck Monarchs, and I was playing Zaborgs. I was doing really nutty combos. Just, it was so good. Once you properly summoned your XYZs, you could use Zaborg to send Magnuses, bring back 3 XYZs, put attachments under them, get the spell speed 2 effects all over again. That was in Super Quantum Monarchs. Then in my my Gishki Necros, I would just Shadow Vision and then use him, drop 3 Heralds, 3 Toads, and it was just crazy. And then also if I had Shadow and Vision, but then if I also had Klausulus, if I could just Shadow Vision Klaus, like that would be the dream, because then my 3 Toads will grab back Klausulus, grab back Shadow, grab back Vision, and then my 3 Heralds will search 3, so you get 6 cards to your hand. And this was in like 2017, early 2017 when I was doing this. And then I ended up selling my Zaborgs along with my Gishki Necro deck. But fortunately, I'm able to play Zaborg again, and this time it's in Gishkis without the Necros. If I had my Necro core, I'd be playing Gishki Necros. This card was the star of my Gishki Necro build. It was a lot harder to resolve it than it is now, but because of the Incantations, it's so easy. And what's really cool with this card with the Incantations is one of the monsters that you tribute is light, so now you get to force your opponent to kind of throw their stuff away. You get to look at their extra deck, and you get to pick the targets, so you know what deck you're playing more than ever because you've already looked at their hand. And it's just, this deck is so annoying. It's like playing Dark Worlds back in the day, and then you just take both the Soul Days, take the 1 Firewall, take the Goblins. You know what to take. Take the Nightmare Mermaid. You know, take the Linkuriboh. Maybe not Linkuriboh. Well, yeah, because I think it has to be properly summoned. But yeah, just take the best extra deck cards from a Goki player. Make sure that they cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh! They might summon Cerberus and you know, like Phoenix, but they can't make a board at all anymore. For any deck that's extra deck reliant, that's pretty much, you know, if you're playing Thunder Dragons, send all of their fusions to the grave. Really, really good. Like, just Prank Kids, you know, there's just so many different ways that the Zaborg combo is a benefit in more ways than 5. So it's a really insane card, really a busted play. You can get a maximum of +6 off of it, minimum of +4. Such a good card. And again, if you want to see other builds, I have a lot of builds that I was playing Zaborg with. But I think that this is the best build I've ever played with Zaborg with, hands down. This card is the GOAT. It's the God card. And again, like, you get to pick the cards that you're sending. That's amazing. Not only are you already winning because their extra deck is so low, you probably already won the Goki battle, but you're about to hand loop your opponent for 5 or 4. Like, normally it's 5, because like Well, if you have like either Shadow and Vision or a way to get to them, you're about to hand loop your opponent for 5. You're about to summon Gustkraken so many times, it's crazy. And Zaborg gets you those advantages because of the Herald of Arclight, which you're normally going to search 3 Aqua Mirrors, or you're going to search 2 Aqua Mirrors if you already have one. Ideally 3 Aqua Mirrors, that way your Shadows and Visions can continue to cycle and search again and again and again. It's really broken. So triple Zaborg. Best normal summon of the deck, hands down. He's so good. Going second, breaks boards. Going first, doesn't even have to make the board. You just hand loop your opponent. If they have 1 or no cards in hand, you really don't have to worry about losing. We have 2 Talismandra and 2 Candle. I only have 2 of each of the Incantations, unfortunately. This is just for right now. I have more coming in the mail. Shout outs to one of my homeboys. I actually just met him. I don't know his name. He didn't tell me his name. I met him at, where was it? It was at DNA. I went over there looking through their commons in Cybernetic Horizon to find these cards. And he gave me, he gave me these and was like, thank you so much. I really love your builds. You've been like inspiring me to get back into the game and stuff like that. And this guy's the only reason why I have these right now. Thank you, man, so much. These are basically the main reason why you're able to get Zaborg out with ease and also get his other effect because Candle is a light, so you get to pick. So broken. Even without Zaborg, you're able to do some crazy plays with these. This is a level 6. It's exactly right for you to tribute summon for your Gustkraken. 6 and 4 is exactly right for you to tribute summon for ritual summon for your Zilgigas because the levels have to be exact. So they're just amazing. So you have your search engine being the Incantations. Even Zaborg counts as the search engine. We also have triple Shadow. Shadow searches the Gishki ritual spell. All he has to do is discard himself from hand to grave. Broken. The Necros are like a replicated facsimile of what Shadow and Vision do because they discard. But this is the original Water Ritual deck before Necros came out. And then you can use him as the entire tribute for the ritual summon of a water monster. This is how my Necro Gishki synergize because Shriek is banned. And I would just tribute these for the entire summon of a Trishula, of a Valkyries. That was in my Necros Gishki build, which actually I uploaded one recently, either this year or last year. If you want to look it up on my channel, just search Necros or Gishkis on my YouTube channel, and you'll find pretty much all my builds for those. We have triple Vision. Vision discards itself to search the ritual monsters, and he's the entire tribute for the summon of a water ritual monster, just like Shadow. So you either search with these or you use them to do ritual summons with a lot less resources expended. But even so, you normally tribute 1 for 1 because you either tribute these to summon the ritual monsters or you tribute another ritual monster at the same level to summon them. So you're normally never really tributing multiple monsters to summon them unless you're tributing the Talismandra and the Candle just so that you can have access to your extra deck. But your extra deck doesn't really matter when you're doing a hand loop. You don't really need to make anything. We also have 3 Shark Baits, probably the second best normal summon of the deck. This card's really redundant because he's not once per turn, and it's just if he's summoned, if and not when. Oh no, I'm sorry, I think this one is a win effect, but just whenever he's summoned, you get to search, which is really broken. You normally get to search your Shadow or your Vision and just continue to get your Aqua Mirror will put itself back into the deck and you'll search it again. Put itself back into the deck, you'll search it again. Even if you have 1 Aqua Mirror, you could just do this cycle. It's crazy. So Abyss, I call him Shark Bait for a reason. He's so broken. So these are all part of your search engine. I cut Beast down to 2. While the card's amazing, he is like a Monster Reborn, and he's like another searcher because he searches. He'll special Shark Bait, and Shark Bait will search on summon. I just find that the deck has too much normal summons because you have your Shark Bait, and then you have him, and then you have Zaborg, which is Zaborg is the normal summon that you want to go for. I found that I didn't want to get clogged up hands full of normal summons because like with this deck, you're never going to tribute your extra monsters for your ritual summons. Once you have your loop, you're tributing Gustkraken for Mine-August and Mine-August for Gustkraken, Zilgigas for Zilgigas, Levianima for Soul Ogre, and so on and so forth. So it's not like you need the extra monsters. What you want is other combo pieces, other ways to extend your plays for your hand loop to go for higher numbers. You want to hit 3 or higher. If you're only ripping 2 cards out of your opponent's hand, that's normally not enough. Even though you will have the knowledge of what you're playing, you kind of... It's like, that's the goal. That's the only way that Gishki can be competitive is being able to hand loop your opponent. If you want to play this deck going second, it's like, that's the way it's supposed to be anyways. This is really a good going second deck. It's a lot better at breaking boards than it is at making them. Virtually, there's no real turn 1 boards that you want to go for. Unless you're trying to go the summon sorceress route, you can play a couple bricks in your main deck, and you can make some some big link boards, especially when Evil Fiber comes out. But right now, like, this is the way to go. Handloop is the most competitive version of Gishkis. There's not very many Gishki deck profiles out there, but I definitely, all the ones that I saw were pretty much trash, and I was not happy. In fact, I saw one that played like 3 Zogigas, 3 Soul Ogres, 3 Leviathan. Like, he played, and it was like all dual terminal, and he played like 12 ritual monsters, and then he played irrelevant main deck Gishkis like Noelia and stuff like that. I was just like, this is cringe. Like, I'm very disappointed. Especially, like, you know, when you love a deck and you know how it's supposed to be played and you know the best way to play it, and then you see builds like, oh, I'm not even inspired by this. So I definitely wanted to provide one of the better, or if not the best, Gishki build on YouTube right now, especially in this era, like in 2018. There are probably better Gishki builds, I feel, in the past, back when this deck was in its prime. But right now, as things stands, I feel like this is probably one of the better Gishki builds. We have one Beautiful Princess, because I only was able to procure 1 copy of it. Once I get 2 to 3 of this, that's when I can throw in a 1-for-1 in my deck. Just increase the ceiling, enable you to get out multiple Gishki Abysses turn 1, Shark Bait, Uhaha. You're trying to normal him, you know, 1-for-1 for Tuneful, banish it, summon another Shark Bait, grab double Shadow, search for 2 Aqua Mirrors, and just continue your hand loop. Really good. But because I only play 1 of it, I feel like 1-for-1 is not called for right now. Because, like, it's almost like you'll garnet yourself when you draw this before 1-for-1. It's a 50-50 chance. I don't want to play that ratio right now. So until I get another Beautiful, I'm not going to play 1-for-1. But when I do get one, I will play 1-for-1 because I feel like it'll be a good extender. We have 1 Vanity. What he does is prevent your opponent from responding to any of your plays with this deck, which is really good. You discard them. They pretty much can't activate anything in response. Can't negate your plays and stuff. And they can't activate card effects when you summon. So they can't, like, Torrential, Bottomless. They can negate the summon. Well, no, I'm sorry, they can't, because they can't negate your ritual spell, and that's how you summon. So they pretty much can only do something after you've already made your plays. And what's really cool is Mind August and Gust Kraken get their effects on summon. So because you can't respond on summon, you can't respond to their effects. So once their effects resolve, you can pop them, and that's fine. It's really broken. I like this card a lot, but you only need 1 because he's searchable, and also you can recur him off of salvage. So once you get the 1 in rotation, you can continue to just add it to your hand. So I don't really think you need more than 1 of this, but you definitely should be playing 2 of these or 3. It is a hard once per turn, but it's a really good hard once per turn. It's almost like when you're playing 3 pre-prep, knowing that it's hard once per turn, but it's so good. So we have all of our monsters. We're just missing 1 Candle and 1 Talismandra. For our spells, we play 3 copies of Gishki Aqua Mirror. This is the best ritual spell in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't think it's an opinion, it's a fact. And you're talking to a guy who plays rituals for a living. Like, I play so many ritual decks, it's crazy. I have 18 copies of Pre-Preparation of Right, 24 copies of Preparation of Right, lots of Ritual Sanctuaries, lots of ritual decks in general. Ritual decks are what I've been playing since 2003. For just about 15 years now, I've been playing ritual decks. No, I'm sorry, I think it's 2004, so 14 years that I've been playing rituals. That it's always been my favorite summoning mechanics, so trust me when I say this is the best ritual spell in the game. We have 3 Pot of Desires, a little bit overkill for some people, but I find that this build is a lot more combo-eccentric, and you actually want to get more cards in hand. It doesn't really matter what you're banishing when you're playing Gishkis, because you have all these searchers. When you're going first, all you really care about is getting your Mind August and Gust Kraken out of your deck, which is too easy to do. It's never hard. Once these are out of your deck, you're basically golden. You can pot and don't care about what you banish. You can do all your combos off of 1 Gishki Aqua Mirror. The beauty of this card is it shuffles itself back into the deck, adds a ritual monster from grave to hand. You search it, put it back into the deck, search it, put it back into your deck. You can do the hand loop off of 1. It's crazy. And all you just need your salvages and your shadows in rotation. It's like, I think it's a lot more work you have to do. Not even a lot, just a little bit more. But dude, even if you just banish 1 and have 2, it's golden. So pot, like, what I'm saying is the only thing you care about really banishing is Gishki Aqua Mirror, and if you only need 1, like, it just doesn't matter. That's why I love the 3 pot in this particular build right now. This is the combo build. This is like, we're trying to go plus like 7. You get your Zaborg, you get your +5 or +6, depending on if you got Shadow and Vision. You'll definitely get that +6. Then you Pot of Desires, get that extra plus. You'll end up having 11 cards in hand. You go bananas with your 11 cards. dump it all out and your opponent's hand is empty and your field is still optimal, which allows you to just OTK. Your opponent normally will pass if they're drawing for a turn and that's the only card in their hand. Unless they drew, I don't know, like a scapegoat, then, you know, then God is with them. But triple pot, absolutely hands down. For a combo-eccentric build like this, absolutely. I could see myself taking the Called by the Graves out of my Gem Knight FTK and putting them in here because this deck is so combo-eccentric that you need your place to resolve. You don't want to be drone lockbirded. But if you get drone lockbirded after you resolve Zaborg, I don't think that it matters because you get so much searches already. And then they can only draw on resolution. But I do see myself playing 2 to 3 Call by the Grave. The unfortunate thing is I only have one playset, and it's in my Gem Knights. We have 2 Marays. I cut it down from 3 to 2 because I'm playing a lot more monsters in the deck that aren't water. And also, we are able to unbrick our hands like at will. In fact, this build doesn't even break anymore. Pure Gishkis would just break because you would draw a ritual monster that has a level 6 and then one with the level 10. And it's like you have to ritual summon for the exact levels and you need to tribute a ritual monster to summon the other. So it's ideal to have 2 of the same level. That's the only brick hand in Gishkis. And now that's not even a problem anymore. So just the 2 Murray of Greed. We also have 2 Preparation of Rites. It's really good. It's part of your Handloop combos, allowing you to cycle through your deck, get the main ritual monsters that you want for turn 1 plays. Turn 2, if you're trying to OTK, you're going for Zilgigas all day. Zilgigas is the only thing you care about. Going second, Zilgigas, break boards, OTK. You don't even need to make a board after that. You just kill them. It's really good. This deck is aggressive and defensive. It's a very balanced ritual deck with a lot of consistency going for itself. A lot of ways to grab the cards that you need, excessive resources, etc. Prep's other beneficial effect is being able to grab the Aqua Mirror back. Sometimes it's better to add Aqua Mirror from your grave to hand back versus putting it in your deck and then wasting another card out of your hand to search it again, when you could just prep, add it from grave to hand, play it, use it again for a second time, and then put it into your deck and then search it. So like you just net that extra additional ritual summon, which contributes to your hand loop because you're trying to summon Gust Kraken as many times as possible. Then we have 2 Salvage because I only have 2, but it's just the best extender in the deck, hands down. Adding Shadow and Vision. What I really love doing is adding double Shadow. Once you have the hand loop combo going in rotation, you don't want to search any ritual monsters. You already have the 2 that you need. These 2. Gust Kraken and Mind August. Just tribute, ritual summon, effect. Tribute, ritual summon. You're just looping it. It literally is like a loop. It's degenerate. So you just want to salvage for shadows specifically. But this is always that beneficial +1. And it just nets you so much advantage. And it extends your hand loop to the point where you could take all cards out of your opponent's hand. Once I get 3 of this, you can see yourself having multiples in the same progression of 1 turn. If you resolve 2 salvages, you will win that duel, hands down. If you resolve 1, you'll probably win anyways. And then we have 1 Upstart to contribute to consistency of the deck. I even considered factoring in a 1 Day of Peace. It is a 40-card build, making it 39. The 1 Day of Peace will make it 38. If you want to consider the pots, then you're technically playing like a 36-card deck. Just technically speaking, if you want to go in terms of card economy. Now the extra deck is triple Herald of the Arclight, triple Cyphering Lord Omega, and triple Elder Entity Natis, and double Totally Awesome. You're never actually going to summon any of these cards except for the Toad itself. You do summon this. What you're doing is, for your turn 1 Zaborg play, Zaborg is so broken in this deck that I actually contributed a lot of slots in my extra deck for him. In fact, like I told you earlier, Gishkis don't need an extra deck anyways. They don't really go into anything except the rank 10 for the OTK and Bahamut Shark Toad for negations. Anything else is just flex. It's not necessary. It's not mandatory. You don't really need it. It's just there because you have the option to do so. But I chose to sacrifice slots so that my Zaborg can net the most advantage as I possibly can. So when you're going first, these are the cards you're going to send. These are the 8. And you're going to look at your opponent's extra deck and choose the ones that you send. So you're going to send both the Assaults, the Firewall, the Goblins, and anything else that's relevant for a U board. If you're playing Trick Stars, you probably just want to send their Kagaris and their Warlord and their Skuldred, stuff like that. Just any deck. If I'm playing a deck that I know about, I'm going to send the cards that they need. So you send these, you end up normally searching 3 times off this. You use your Toads to add your Shadows and Visions. The deck's a water deck, so you can really add anything back. So you get that +5 off of there. And you use the Omegas to put back your Arclights. But I think that I might end up cutting the Omegas. It's kind of counterintuitive simply because I summoned Gust Kraken. I summoned Mind August and end up shuffling 5 cards from my grave into my deck anyways. But also the other reason for playing the Omegas is I feel like there's no other good targets to send turn 1. But ultimately, I'm probably just going to end up just putting the Omegas out of the extra deck and swapping them out for completely different targets, because I have realized when I'm doing my hand loop, I have the potential to shuffle 5 cards from my graveyard back into my deck 4 times. That's 20 cards that I can recycle. So when you do the hand loop, you recycle everything that you use for Zaborg anyways. So I find myself really just like finding like this is just a wasted play, and then Toads can put their cells back if you have no legit targets. So I just kind of like want to cut the Omegas completely. I didn't factor, you know, how often I do the hand loop, because like I thought, oh well, maybe I can't, like I just had this thing in my mind where what if I cannot hand loop, I'll need the Omegas to put it back. But when you resolve this, you do get the hand loop anyway. So I'm probably just gonna cut the Omegas completely. If you're playing a deck that's not Gishkis, if you can't basically pot of avarice all of your cards back, any cards in fact, so anything that's not Gishkis, you should be playing Omegas for your targets for Zaborg. Like if I'm playing this in like Heralds or any other ritual deck, Omegas are absolutely a standard staple target. So this can just become any Link monsters, any XYZs of your choice. But these are the ones that I'm sending turn 1. And then for going second, I'm sending the Tees, the Arclights, and the Toads. So I can break boards, stack my chain links accordingly. You normally get 8 different effects, so you get a chain link of 8, and then you have your opponent responding as chain link 9 if they have a response. If not, you're resolving a lot of stuff. So your Zaborg is just letting you go off. So you have all of those targets for Zaborg. And then we have Gustav Max because it's infamous in Gishkis for your OTK. We have Bahamut Shark because I like actually being able to make boards. Like, for example, I've been in very advantageous positions where I've been able to hand loop and actually get the Bahamut Shark Toad combo, which is really cool because all you do, like when you have any other ritual monsters that's not the hand loop ones, you can just link summon with them into Starboy, and you can go into your Bahamut Shark Toad. So you have that negate for the final card that your opponent has, and that's on your good hands. That's on your like incredibly broken hands. But if your hand's not so great, you really can't do this. But like it's still there because I like having that option for the turn 1 play of being able to summon my Toads. And also I'm going, you know, into anything after turn 1, turns 2 and 3, you can always go into your Gishki Beast and revive Shadow. As long as you can make him a Starboy, you can do it. So we have a Starboy as a contributing factor to that play, and we have Underclock Taker as a contributing factor to the OTK with Gustav Max. You want to shrink a monster down with Zilgigas attacking. 32 is normally going to make anything 0. Swing for 32, swing for 32, game. If your opponent calls time in the round and you're going first and you're comboing off, Hand Loop can't take life points away from your opponent. So you use your Zaborg to get Zilgigases. What you'll end up doing is you'll summon Zilgigases without using their effects. Keep your life points at 8,000. Make this and burn your opponent for 2k. So they'll be at 6k, you'll be at 8k. You'll win the duel in main phase. So the deck's really good, honestly. And that concludes the deck profile, you guys. If you want to see duels in action, I'm going to have Cool Cuz. Hopefully he's going to come through tonight, and we're going to get some duels popping on the channel, get some content that's like live action content versus just informational deck profiles. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you guys. You know I love you. Y'all stay tuned for the future content as always. Be on the horizon because I've been uploading a lot more frequently because I've got a little bit free time in my hands. I finished training, got my job, and I have less hours that I'm working now. So I have a little bit more flexibility in my schedule, so I can do a lot more of the requests that you're making. But peace out, y'all. I think that's pretty much it for tonight, unless Cool Cuz come through. And yo, good night.